The T-34 was and remains a legend. Thousands of these tanks were instrumental in defending the Soviet Union from the German invasion and became famous worldwide thanks to their exceptional capabilities. Today we're going to tell you how to unlock the true potential of the T-34 and bring your team to victory. The T-34 features an armored hull with heavily sloped armor that is 40 to 45 millimeters thick. It can withstand hits by many guns that are often found in Rank 2 battles. For instance, it's capable of shrugging off hits by AP shells from the German 75mm KWK-37 or the 50mm KWK-39. At the same time, the Panzer IV's KWK-40 is already posing a pretty serious threat to the T-34, and Tigers and Panthers are simply deadly. Some variants of the T-34 are fitted with applique armor, like the captured vehicle in the German tech tree, or the version of the T-34 manufactured at the Stalingrad tractor plant. The later tanks of the series also feature reinforced turrets, but all T-34s, regardless of their origin or the time of production, share the same list of weak spots, namely turret cheeks and the turret ring. That's not to say that you can't rely on your armor at all. You certainly can, especially on the earlier models. For instance, T-34s made from 1940 to 1942 can be used as very aggressive brawlers. Close the distance, strike first, and when they retaliate, tank the shot with the sturdiest parts of the tank. To maximize your chances of bouncing the shot, angle your hull slightly and also make sure that you're not exposing your turret cheeks to the enemy. We also suggest that you should move a bit to the side right after the shot so that the enemy projectile hits your side armor. There are some other useful tricks as well. Your gun doesn't wobble that much on the move, which allows the T-34 to open fire almost immediately after stopping. In close combat, the tank is inferior only to vehicles with a gun stabilizer, like the Sherman. Furthermore, all vehicles of the series have access to powerful rounds with explosive filler. To deal maximum damage, just aim at the center of the fighting compartment. At the same time, all tanks of the series share the same weakness in the firepower department. Their guns have the typically bad Soviet depression, from -3 to -5 degrees. That's right, most of their opponents have twice as much. In practical terms, if an opponent hides behind a hill, it's a bad idea to climb it to engage them from above. What you should do instead is go around the obstacle and find a good position on the slope. The main difference between older and newer models of the tank is their armament, and it's the main gun that determines the capabilities of the tank and its list of priority targets. The 1940 variant of the T-34, as well as the event prototype version, is armed with the 76mm L11 cannon. Compared to guns of Rank 2 counterparts from other nations, it's pretty mediocre when it comes to reload rate, ballistics, and penetration potential, but it's still perfectly serviceable. As BR-350A APH EBC rounds have low fuse sensitivity, you should use them to hit areas covered by proper armor and avoid spaced armor or screens. To always have a full list of options, though, try to carry at least a couple HE and smoke shells. In 1941, the tank received a new gun, the F-34. It has better ballistics, allowing you to reliably engage enemies at medium range. In order to defeat Panzer IV tanks, aim for the turret, and the Japanese Chinu can be defeated by shooting at the areas with flat, sloped armor. If you run into an American Sherman, hit them from the side. Aim at the center of the hull or the area around the front track drive sprocket. These are basically your only options if you want to penetrate the defenses of a Sherman. The same approach works against the British Churchill III and the Jagdpanzer IV tank destroyer. Finally, if you're up against an enemy KV or a T-34, we suggest that you should aim for the area next to the mantlet, or shoot to the turret ring to incapacitate the offensive capabilities of the tank. The next group of T-34 variants, armed with the ZIS-2 57mm gun, were only produced in small numbers. Their hull is virtually the same. What sets them apart from their predecessors is that APHE shells fired from their new gun follow a flatter trajectory, and the gun itself has excellent fire rate and great penetration. The upgunned tank can stand its ground even against German Panthers and win most engagements. Aim for the mantlet or the area under the turret. If instead of a Panther you run into a German feline of a different kind, that's no problem as well. You can destroy Tigers with a shot to the center of their hull. In 1944, the Soviet Army employed another version of the T-34 with an 85mm gun. As this generation of T-34s has to fight against tanks and some SPA-AGs that can easily deal with any kind of armor, you have to change your tactics. Now it's all about mobility and being able to land a good hit first. And it certainly doesn't hurt that your gun has a great horizontal aiming speed. Your BR-365A APHEBC shell has so much explosive filler that any good hit can be an instant KO. If it actually pierces armor, that is. This is the area where the new powerful gun can struggle quite a bit against certain targets. For example, the Sherman Jumbo and the Tiger II with a Henschel turret are practically impervious to your shots. In cases like that, your best bet is to destroy their gun first, and then try to pierce their defenses through weak spots in relative safety. Another thing to remember is that the 85mm cannon takes quite a while to reload, so you have to make your shots count. Aim for the turret or the fighting compartment. The same can be said for most T-34 variants armed with the 85mm gun. Noteworthy examples include the Soviet T-35-85 armed with a D5T cannon, and the Chinese T-34-85 GAI equipped with a DSHK heavy machine gun. The 85mm gun wasn't the most powerful armament a T-34 was armed with, though. There was also a unique experimental model armed with a 100mm LB-1 gun. In the game, it's a premium vehicle found at rank 4 of the Soviet tech tree. It has enough firepower to rival even the earliest MBTs, eliminate a King Tiger with a single shot to the turret front, and destroy an American T-29 with a single shot to the lower glacis plate. At the same time, it takes the gun 11 seconds to reload, even with a maxed out crew, and it has an even more limited max depression aim, -3 degrees. Because of all that, the T-34-100 is best used as a tank destroyer of sorts. Engage your targets from afar, and be extra careful when trying to flank. The tanks of the T-34 family are extremely versatile. Experienced tankers can use them to achieve insane victories, and they're really good vehicles for newcomers to learn the ropes properly. Is there a T-34 variant that you particularly like? Tell us in the comments below.